episode this is, by the way?
1 second. All right, I'll pull it up.
I love that this is going to start where we're like, what episode is it? Oh, it's episode 7 of season 8. Welcome to a Navcast, season 8, episode 7. Today, we've got with us the produce farmer.
Hey, how's it going?
Also known as the Phantom Farmer sometimes.
Sometimes, but I'm here tonight, and where's Johnny? He's not here.
I mean, where's Johnny is a great question, yes. I mean, Craig's here. Hi, Craig. And DJD.
And so we've dubbed Johnny with the name Johnny Who?
Johnny Who. I like that. It has a ring to it. Yeah.
I liked it.
The invisible snare. Yeah.
Yep. We never saw it coming.
So how have you been, Farmer? I've been. I'll start off actually, because I'm excited about this. I've been watching the Jurassic Park movies, and let me tell you, they did. The first one is almost perfect, and the other one's not so great.
So when you say you're talking about the original Jurassic Park movie,
starting with the first one, and then I hope to eventually get to the new one that just came out. Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah, the first one is really top shelf. Yeah, and the other ones are really entertaining. To kind of just like go along with it, but yeah, it's not quite the same as like that first one. And then they had Jurassic World with the whole theme park. I really like the first one of that too. It's like
yes.
Jurassic Park, first one of that, the first set, is good, and then they go into the theme park, and I really like the first one, but then somewhere along the second and then even the third, it's like they really, really fell off. Like, where's this story going?
Yeah, it's almost like they missed the point of the first one a little bit, which seems to be like this, why are we doing this? Like, what's the famous line that Malcolm says? It's like, you were so concerned with seeing that you could that you didn't ask if you should,
Right.
And then they make more movies, and it's like, okay, well, what's the purpose of these movies? Like, is there a larger?
It felt like that one really had like it knew what it was, but then especially number 2, like the sequel to Jurassic World was just like, what is this movie? That's just kind of what I was thinking in my head when I was watching that movie. It was like, where's this movie going? And like we don't develop anything through this whole movie. I feel like, it's just like, it's just action, it's just like a lot of running and going undercover, just like how to maintain the in this world of dinosaurs, but there's no I don't know, the plot just was very weak. I just felt like outside of the first one that seemed like it was really strong. I guess that's the biggest thing that you can compare is like the first one of the original series and the next spin-off series seemed like they both had really, really good stories, and then not sure what happened after that.
Okay, so without looking, could you tell me how many Jurassic Park movies you think there are, including the Jurassic World ones?
So I believe there's 7 as of right now.
Yeah, you nailed it. Yeah, I did not know that. I was definitely unaware of that. I definitely thought there were 6. I've now realized in the midst of this rewatching that I never saw the last 2 World movies, like both the one that just came out and the one right before that. I think I may have watched, but not really paid attention to.
I think I watched. Yeah. I think I watched 7, but I'm not sure. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. I definitely watched them. Actually, I haven't watched 7. What am I talking about? That's the newest one, right? 1, 2,
right.
3, 4.
Yeah.
And then I don't think I ever watched 6, to tell you the truth. Or maybe if I did, I only watched it once. Or maybe just that number 5 and 6 seems so similar that it just didn't stand out to me. Maybe I did watch them both.
So all that I remember about 6 is that it's the gangs back together, right? Like they get like all the old characters back together. That's all I
maybe I
really
did
remember
watch
about
that. Yeah,
it.
they were trying to do that whole Star Wars thing, right?
Right, I think so. Yeah. But like, I also find rewatching these movies that there's a reason why I like the first one and the first world one, which is like number 4 or whatever.
Right.
It's because I actually really like the idea of the theme park. Like the theme park
Me
actually
too.
working and everything. It seems like a
Mm-hmm.
really cool thing. And so, like, I mean, like, I would go to that. I would absolutely like, maybe not like in the very, very first batch of people, but like if it had been
You just wait for the test run. Like,
right, yeah, like if it had been open for a little while, you know, and everything. Like, I mean, like, you know, and not too many people were getting killed. You know, I I'd
let the
definitely be
test
up for that.
subjects that they don't report in public, go. There'll be
Right.
volunteers that never get actually reported to the news or anything like that. But after so many test runs, yeah, then he'd get his lifetime membership. But
Now, have
no, I
you ever
mean, I
played
think
the?
there's like that whole kitty kind of feel to the whole theme park. Like it's just like, I mean, we all, I mean, I just think about anybody that likes that whole amusement park kind of feel, and like the fact that you can actually go there and like, it just gives that. Like, I mean, the first one kind of gave you that element too, because you were like, it wasn't necessarily theme park, but it was still like you can go to these places.
Right.
You can
Yeah.
see
Like
these
the first one was a zoo,
dinosaurs.
essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
zoo.
Yeah.
Is a little bit of it's a park, and then you have these really cool things in the new one, Jurassic World, where you're able to actually get in even closer because of these bubble crap. Hover. What do they call them?
I don't remember what they're called, but the spheres, right? The like
Yeah,
the little yeah.
I want to call them bubble coasters or something. I don't know. You're in a bubble, a glass bubble, but because of it, you're able to immerse yourself so much more into the environment of where the dinosaurs are living, and it's just like that's really cool. It's like you're that much that further into their environment and like able to see what everything is going on, like how they lived and all that. It gives you that whole feel that maybe science fiction can give you when you're like, right there into what something could be in the future. It's just like just that much closer to reality, what it could have been in the past. So instead of going to the future, we're going to the past and what, all these dinosaurs lived and how they lived. And it's just, it's fascinating. It gets you to that place of like, wow, this is just fascinating. It's just that awe factor. I guess that's what I'm looking for.
Right.
The awe factor.
It's like the novelty of it, right? Like the like how we've never experienced this before, kind of like this whole discovery kind of aspect of it, of like being able to like interact or see or like observe these things for the first time or whatever, and like have this like entirely foreign like world essentially at our fingertips. Uh, that all seems like really cool, and then plus dinosaurs are just cool. Like I'm really curious if like Rebirth at all touches. That's the newest one, I think. The whole like the form factor change of dinosaurs that like we've kind of like seen kind of discuss. I think I remember 6 kind of touching on that a little bit, but like not going too much into it. But I mean, I also could be wrong there. I'm not sure. But
Yeah, I'm not as fresh on the details, so I'm not quite sure. But there that does seem to ring a bell, and I'm interested to see 7 for sure, just to kind of like one to kind of get back into it, and maybe even rewatch them all. But like just see where they're going and see how. I've heard it's good. So how you've seen it, right? You've seen the newest one.
I've not seen the newest one. No,
Yeah,
I'm
so you're kind of
rewatching them
prepping
all
then.
in
I gotcha.
preparation. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So it's. I mean, if it follows suit, 1's good, 4's good, 7 should be good, right?
yeah. That's true. Actually, I hadn't thought of it that way, but yeah, that's a good point.
But
Especially
it's
since
like
like it seems like they get like consistently worse after the like every first one out of 3 or whatever. So I mean, like, yeah.
Yeah, it's delving into a new storyline too. It's kind of like they're breaking new ground, so that adds a little bit more interest. But I really hope they kind of like tie some of this stuff, make it. Yeah, I think they are trying. I read an article a little bit about it, but I think they are kind of interweaving some of the stuff. But I'm interested to see how much they tie into it and how much it's its own thing. So that'll be interesting.
Now, would you be as interested if the dinosaurs were, if you knew they were fully robots, like a Horizon Zero Dawn kind of thing, as opposed to like genetically
I would.
created?
That would be interesting for sure. I feel like the first movie I want to watch that's really like that though would be like actually a Horizon Zero Dawn movie.
Oh, sure. But I mean, like, say there's a park or whatever, like a Horizon Park. Would you still be as interested as like a Jurassic Park if it was like Robot Run or whatever? Because we're kind of getting to that point. I feel like.
Well, it would just depend on how they put it in the storyline. Like, see, the way that works for Horizon is the fact that, this is like the culmination of like events that have happened and now we're gone backwards. So that makes it,
sure.
And then it interweaves like the old, the new, and like, all this technology that was lost, but also is like way advanced, but also they're, way in primitive times. So it's like this really cool marriage between the two, like being able to coexist between both future tech and like primitive like cultures. So that really works. I'm interested to see if they if they did something like with robots, how it would work in modern, But
yeah,
I really like that way that it works between like just like old and the new, and somehow it just kind of works. But it works for Horizon. I'm
it
interested.
Works in the Horizon world.
I
wonder if it would work in like the real world though. Like, say they were to open like San Diego Dinosaur Park or something, and it was all robots, and you knew they were robots. I feel like that would take away from like the novelty of it a bit. Like, I mean, like, I feel like it would be like, okay, well, I know these are robots, so it's kind of like not as fresh, not as exciting, but also probably not as dangerous either. So, like I said, yeah.
So you're talking about actually in the zoo,
like an actual park,
park.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking still movie. I was still thinking like in the Jurassic movies, like them bringing in robot dinosaurs. But I see where you're going with this, and that would be crazy. But it would be cool, like to get that one step further to like seeing how this could actually work. But again, how would we know? Like we have ideas, sure, how things could work, but how they would actually have been and how we program them to be, how authentic could we get? I don't know. I mean, I guess fairly authentic because we know how muscles work and bones and things like that. So
right,
but
it could be best guess and like who's gonna refute it, right? Like, I mean, like they even kind of address that in Jurassic Park, right? Where it's like Grant like kind of questions a couple things and they go, well, no, actually, like we've done some studies or whatever, and like based on the DNA, this is how it actually is or whatever, and it's like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, like it's hard to argue with that, I mean, like. Now, granted, theme park of like robot dinosaurs would be different because like you wouldn't have DNA as like a call to authority or anything. But I mean, like, I feel like you could still like say, well, you know what, like this is just how it is based on our interpretation or whatever.
Yeah, we've seen enough Jurassic Park movies and the dinosaur, the Disney dinosaur movie. That was big back in the day.
Or like, since Johnny's not here, I can bring it up. Like the there was so the first Watch Dogs game takes place in a version of Chicago, right? That's different than the actual Chicago. And Johnny hates that version of Chicago. But I mean, like, but that version of Chicago is actually like, like it works for the game really well, I feel like, because like it's curvy streets and everything. So it makes driving a lot easier because 1-to-1 actual Chicago would be annoying as anything in a video game and also have tons of traffic. But I mean,
Yeah,
like,
but it annoys Johnny, I'm sure, because it's like, this is not my city. I don't, I can't play this game because this is not. I don't believe it. I don't. It's not authentic.
right? Like, or I wonder how many like hunters or whatever, or like even farmers, I guess, like get mad at like the simulation games, for not being like as
Well,
realistic as they could be, or something like that.
yeah, I
Like,
mean, they were
I
getting
don't
pretty
know.
good though. Some of those farm simulators are getting pretty up there. But again, it's one thing to have a city that the streets and then go to the game and it's not right. Then it's another thing to go to a field that's just an open piece of land. I mean, it's not like they're marking these roads either. Like this is a specific place. The difference between that game is like this, they were calling it Chicago, and it was supposed to be, fairly close. And I'd say it was fairly close. I mean, I think you said it was fairly close. It just was, different, different Chicago. Made it
Yeah,
easier
like I
for
mean,
video
it was
games.
close enough that I could recognize like my way around it for like at least part of it. Like it definitely wasn't 1-to-1 or anything, and not even close to 1-to-1. But like certain neighborhoods, I could kind of like be familiar with, which I thought was cool. Or downtown, like I was relatively like familiar with, and it's like, oh yeah, I've walked like down some of these streets or whatever. And yeah, this looks different, but like I kind of still know my way around, which is kind of why I love that game so much. But for someone who was like born and raised there, I mean, I guess maybe it carries a different thing. But like, I mean, like, let's say like Farming Simulator actually opens a farming theme park, most boring and obnoxious theme park of all time. But like, let's say it does that, and all the like activities in it are like entertainment like versions of the actual activities. Like they aren't analogous to like actual farm activities. It's
Yeah, they're all
definitely
for
hyped
fun
up
instead
for
of
like,
actual
yeah,
work.
exactly. Yeah. Like, I mean, like, I wonder if that would annoy like actual farmers. Like, hey, why are you like
Yeah, I
glorifying
mean
this? Or
that's
like, like,
yeah.
yeah.
But again, most farmers don't have time to even think about playing a game about farming, and they don't
I
want
mean,
to.
that's fair. Yeah, that's
I'm just
fair.
just saying
Yeah.
that. I mean, it's kind of like the power washing simulator. I mean, I had fun for a little bit, but once it started feeling like work, I'm just like, this is
That's what drew
work.
me out of it. Yeah. I was like,
And the
okay,
mowing
like, yeah.
simulator was worse. It was
Oh my
way worse
gosh,
because
did you
I
play the
do that.
mowing simulator? Oh my
I tried
goodness.
it for like
Oh my
30
goodness.
minutes or so, and then I'm like, no way, because I do this like every other week, and I still need to do some mowing, tomorrow if I get time. And it's just one of those things like, why am I going to sit here and do that when I have real mowing to do?
I legit hated it so much. I was like, this is the like actually like obnoxious. I hate this so much. But I mean, like, I wonder if like a theme park like of like robot dinosaurs, if like other people like who have interest in actual dinosaurs would get annoyed by it or whatever.
Now,
Um,
if you could like, you could have some that were like simulated to be like actual life forms, like living in the wildlife, and you'd have those where you could look from afar, which would be cool. And then you have others where you could actually take the pilot seat, get in there and have a little
ooh,
fun with
that would
it.
be cool. I like
Yeah,
that. Yeah, yeah. You could like
go
ride them
go
or
all
whatever,
Power
guide them
Rangers with it,
around. Yeah, maybe even like get inside their head and look through their eyes or
Yeah,
something. Yeah, yeah.
that would be
Um,
pretty neat. I wouldn't, I would do it. Yeah, that'd be fun.
and then I guess the final question is: would Sony sue them for making a Horizon theme park? Because right now Sony is suing Tencent for making a game that's very similar to Horizon Zero Dawn called The Light of Motoram, which I think was showcased during like Summer Game Fest. I think, uh, where it looks like very much a ripoff.
I'm looking it up right now. Let's see. I'm not sure if
Yeah,
I watched this or not, or maybe I
and
did, and I was like, man,
apparently,
that's cool.
according to Sony, Tencent actually approached Sony saying, "Hey, can we license Horizon to make our own version?" and Sony was like, no. And Tencent asked again, and Sony said no again. And then Tencent still made the game. It's like, oh, okay,
we don't need your. Well, apparently they felt like, well, we don't really need your approval because, for one, machines, across the board, wildlife's across the board. I feel like maybe they felt like they had enough to stand on in court, as long as they're not like. It looks pretty similar, though.
Yeah, it looks very, very similar.
I'm just looking at this one picture, the open world aspect of it, and with the whole,
like you've got robot
they didn't even try to do different
bow,
with the whole power source. Yeah, like the armor on the outside looks like the same armor. The bolts that are blue and the energy coils and all that kind of stuff. It looks. Yeah,
it looks pretty egregious. It looks like more even than like Power World, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say that this looks wow. So they approached them. They said no. They said no, and then they made it anyways. And then Sony said, "Okay, we're gonna sue you."
I saw that like literally just yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, all right." That's pretty bad. That's pretty egregious.
Kind of everybody could see that coming, though, if you were paying close attention to it. Like they asked for permission, and they got no twice, and then they did it anyways. And what do you think's going to happen? At that point, why would you even go and ask for permission if you're just going to make it?
Right. Well, then my question is, too, I imagine this game is probably multi-platform. Like, it's probably supposed to come to everything because it's Tencent, so why not? But then would it be able to compete then? Because Sony is apparently looking forward to becoming a multi-platform third-party development studio itself.
Yeah.
Did you hear about like the new role that they introduced this week?
The new what?
They're looking to fill a senior director of multi-platform and account management.
Interesting.
So, and specifically, like, it reads, this position will be responsible for shaping and executing the global commercial strategy for PlayStation Studios software titles across all digital platforms beyond PlayStation hardware, including Steam, Epic Game Store, Xbox, Nintendo, and mobile. So that's like they're doing the Xbox thing. They're doing the thing. They're literally like looking to introduce a role specifically for like bringing exclusives to other platforms, which I think is super
cool. What it comes down
actually.
to is,
but that's way sooner than I was expecting.
Yeah, but they're saying that, and again, I'm sure we've had this conversation in the past, but like the whole thing is. The big titles that make a lot of money aren't your titles that are exclusive. That's just how it's been. And that's how it's always going to be. If you want to make the most money that you can make with a title, you got to have it everywhere. And you're going to have it. That's just going to help with marketing too. Like everybody sees it, then everybody's in it, then everybody knows about it. Then it's just, it's just going to be crazy easier. Then you get your name out there even more. And it's just, it just makes sense for the consumer too. Like
it does, yeah.
And
even for the business, it comes down to it,
we're at the point where we should be like be able to play any of these games, across the board. But people and businesses, make the problem. But really, we have the technology to be able to. Coexist and be able to cross play on any sort of level. Like at this point, it's not a foreign concept, it's
right.
Very much like, okay, you have to go out of your way to not do it at this point.
Well, it's just crazy too, because like it's been like what, like 6? When did Fortnite push crossplay? Was that 2019?
It's been a while. I don't know. I'll look it up.
But like, I mean, I feel like it hasn't been like super long. Oh, excuse me.
March 2018. So
It's
we've
just wild
been
that we went
in
from
it for a
like,
while.
well, it's been a while, but it's kind of wild that we went from 7 years ago pushing crossplay and that being such a big deal and people being so against that for various reasons to now being like literally like games being like exclusives dying off, essentially, like I'm sure that,
Exclusives for the console, but exclusives for a company in a way. I mean, it's not exclusive anymore, but it'd be like
right,
a specialty title.
right. It's a first party title, I would say. And like
Yeah.
that just happens to be on other
But
platforms.
this is what it should have been from the get-go, but it's had to take what 20 plus years to get through all the hoops and hurdles of people holding the gate shut, because they're either they were trying to make money or they just didn't see how this could be a thing. They couldn't envision it. They were tunnel visioned. But
Well, and then
really,
like,
what it comes down to, I think it was a money thing, too. It's like, okay, we're gonna hold down to our philosophy of this is how gaming we want it to be, And Sony's finally coming around, finally, after so long, to finally see that, okay, they can do better with actually just playing nice. Hopefully they can continue to like get their titles out everywhere. That's what I'd like to see.
one, like, apparently there's like about 30 million, give or take, like Xbox Series owned, right? Which is not a small and insignificant number by any means. And so if you can sell to those 30 million people, like, why not, right? And that's not even counting the games that are also going to be available on Xbox One or are capable of it. Like, I mean, like your Spider-Mans or whatever, like,
Yeah, and the PC market, I mean, is huge, and they've been missing out on that for the longest time.
yeah.
Where I would say Xbox has probably done a little bit better with that, for sure.
Well, especially with like their whole like day and date like PC like initiative that started like what, like 6 or 7 years ago, I think, or whatever, like shortly
Right.
after
Mm-hmm.
Halo 5, I think. Yeah. But like, I mean, also I think it also helps against like these knockoff games that are available on every platform. Because it's like, okay, like, sure, Tencent, you can maybe win this lawsuit or whatever, or change your game enough to avoid it and put it out everywhere. But guess what? When Horizon Zero Dawn comes to Xbox, guess what's going to knock you out of the water? You know, like, I mean,
Yeah, because you're again,
you can play the ripoff or you can play the real thing. Like, I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
you can get any kind of knockoff product, and if it's not as good or if it doesn't hold up, a little bit of originality on its own, then guess what? When the next one comes out, it's just you're gonna be an afterthought. You're gonna be forgotten. That's why it's really they could. I like the idea of what they're trying to do because I think more games need to be like this because I love Horizon Zero Dawn and the world of it. But I don't know. You got to figure out how to be a little bit more unique.
right.
But maybe they feel again. I haven't played the game. I'm just seeing what I'm seeing in the trailer here in the picture. But it just like even artistically, you could make a few different choices to get the same thing across, but just not. And maybe they have. I'm just talking about that one picture. It just speaks Horizon Zero Dawn. Like it could be written over the top, and I would have believed it.
Right.
So
Yeah. Or like, I mean, yeah, exactly. Like if it just said Horizon Light of Motoram, it'd be like, oh, okay, this is like a spin-off. Got it. Okay.
yeah.
I'd buy it in a heartbeat. Of like, not like that I'd physically buy it, but like that I'd believe that it was a spin-off game, like an officially licensed, like, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and
Arkham Origins or
so
whatever.
that's interesting. It says it has co-op gameplay. So I wonder
Really,
where this is
that's
gonna
kind of
go.
cool.
Is
Yeah,
this
I
is this
want
going to come out?
to. I don't know.
That's the question right now. I mean, you can wish list it right now on Epic. So it's
Oh,
coming
speaking
soon.
of, what that reminds me of is my one problem with going back to Jurassic Park, the Jurassic World games, which they're on Jurassic World 3 now or whatever, Jurassic Evolution 3 or whatever. Um, my only problem with those games is that they don't have co-op. I don't understand why they don't have co-op. I feel like those games would be incredible if they just added co-op. Like, I don't know,
Hmm.
like people seem to enjoy them enough for them to keep on making them, I guess. You know? But
Yeah.
like,
I mean,
eh.
everything's better in my head with co-op. But,
Yeah, I mean
we
that's for sure. Yeah,
we grew up with the whole Halo series having online co-op, having co-op local split screen or having the online co-op, and so that's always been or Gears, or actually there's so many series in during that time in the early to mid 2000s that were, that was the one thing that they would have was split screen, local co-op, and then, online co-op. And it's just, I don't know, it's kind of like you never know these days what the developer's going to do, It's like they could all
true.
in on the
Yeah.
single player, or they could really go in with the co-op. But the problem, again, like we had with Suicide Squad, is like they did the co-op well and it was amazing, but then they had this whole, battle pass subscription, whatever, have a season pass, really what it comes down to, have a big, big problem with the overall arc of the game. And yeah, that's like, okay, so you can do co-op well, you can do single player well, or you can do them bad because your system or your season pass that you're trying to do is, just not going to work out. Like, it works out for some games, but man, it doesn't for some others. And trying to
Yeah.
find where your game fits and all that, I can't imagine being the developer or the guys at the top, like trying to just figure out, okay, how is this game going to land for
Well,
everybody,
especially with like such a crowded market too. Like I always think back to like how Marathon just didn't land with people when they had to their unclosed alpha, And I mean, apparently they're having another closed alpha soon, so maybe it'll be better by the time it actually comes out, whenever that is. But it's been indefinitely, like, I mean, like there's no release date now. But then like also like Splitgate, right? Like Splitgate 2 came out and then got unreleased. Like it's like, wait, what? You can do that? like that's not the first time that that's happened, but it's definitely like rare, I feel like, for a game to
I
go,
didn't hear about that
yeah,
yet. That
oops, never
actually.
mind. Yeah. like it's they said they're calling it, they're going back into beta is what they said. And it's like, oh, okay. All right. That's a choice, I guess. Like I mean like, yeah. Like you just have to be very very careful when you nail, like when you focus so much on multiplayer, about nailing it and making it feel good, because that matters a lot to people, especially when like there's so many options of where people can spend their time or play multiplayer and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's mm, it's so, like you said, so competitive out there in that market where especially if you're a shooter, like you have to hit certain things just right. And then again, if you want people to be in your game, even like with what, Destiny has done, it's just like you got hit or miss content, and trying to keep people happy in your game that are consistently playing, and then trying to keep people happy in your game that are just playing, here and there, and trying to make that balance where people can coexist, where they jump in, not feel like they're, having to spend their whole life just to do something, or the no lifers feeling like there's still something there for them. And that's got to be a huge, um a hard balance to drive for any game. But like, I mean, it's not easy. We've seen the life of, Destiny or Halo or any of them,
right?
just trying
Like
to
even
figure
like
it out.
Destiny just had a new expansion and it fell by the wayside almost immediately. Like it didn't nearly hit like Final Shape numbers, I don't think. Even though the campaign allegedly is like one of the better ones that they've had. And then like I mean, when it comes down to it, like just people like played it, beat it, stop playing it. Like I mean, like it's really getting tough out there for certain live service games when they aren't like consistently delivering quality content. And then also like Destiny 2 technically is not live service anymore, kind of.
Yeah,
Because the way that they're doing their like latest expansion is they're doing their latest expansion. That's it. And then they'll have a smaller update in like 3 months or whatever. And then they'll have
I think everybody can see the writing on the wall a
expansion.
little bit too. Just the
Yeah.
fact that it's just, well, and I felt it for a while, but again, how much are you going to put into a game when it's at the end when you're looking for the next thing? Like you can. I don't know how many people have probably done this, but like I know anytime I go back into Destiny, I get some of the new content, but then I'm back to some of the same stuff,
Sure.
And it doesn't take very long to get back to the same routines of, oh, I got to do this, I got to go back and do the same mission, which that's kind of part of the game, but it's time for something fresh in that series, when it comes down to it. Destiny 3, really. And so you're, restructuring, whatever, or is that going to happen? I don't know. But it's time for something that's all new instead of just some new content with going back to the old same things.
Right. I don't disagree. And I think like if you're going to do like essentially the old thing or like the popular thing or the thing that there's already a crowded market for, you need to do it perfectly to stand out. Like I mean like and even then sometimes you fail. Like Halo Infinite, I would say, is one of the best live service like shooter games out there. And it's like not it screwed up its first impression and like just has not been able to bounce back. Like it does not get the love that it should deserve at this point.
It should have. Yeah. Well, the problem with
even from us,
anybody,
I mean, like,
the problem about saying anything to anybody in your fan base or in the public, or saying we're going to do this and then not do it, and then say that again for the next game and then not do it, like that's a bitter taste in the mouth for anybody. And you got to hit those marks. I know they didn't want to like let fans, have to wait that much longer, so they just like said we'd wait and we'll just go ahead and release this. But having it all done and done the right way is so key.
Right. Yeah.
So key to keeping the hype. Like it's almost better not to release than
that's what Splitgate is apparently experiencing too. But then like also they're shutting down, like they shut down their original game. And so like all you can do is play Splitgate 2 beta now. And it's like, oof, like that's even worse somehow, I mean, like,
yeah, that's not great.
That's
at
rough.
All, especially when
like that reminds me of the Anthem shutdown too, right? Mm-hmm. Like the Anthem.
Yeah, something you can't. Like, there's people
January
out there that are huge fans,
Yeah,
that want to go back and play their Splitgate 1 game. I mean, I have that game somewhere.
Yeah,
and I guess I can't play anymore. Good to know.
Well, there was like that Stop Killing Games initiative or whatever in the UK that like I think I agree with the sentiment of. I don't know how practical it is because I don't think that every game necessarily, and I think that they even address this in that initiative, right? Of not every game is able to be like preserved, but that there should at least be a good faith effort too. Like I feel Anthem, if you put in the resources, you could make Anthem like single player, like preserved,
Yes.
Like,
well, and that's what they'd have to do to fall back on any of these games that are multiplayer. You'd have to have something single player-esque or something that where you can do a peer-to-peer, or make your own dedicated server. They could do that sort of thing. Where you could,
like even open it up or whatever, so that like the community can develop it if they really want to, right?
Right.
Like, I mean, like, remember, like, when Galactic Battleground shut down or whatever, like, online, like that, all that stuff, and then, like, Game Ranger and all these other like programs came out, like being able to like facilitate multiplayer across like all that stuff. Like that was really cool, actually.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, like just trying to get it to work, and I have fun doing that kind of stuff. Even though we didn't like after we got to work, didn't play it that often afterwards.
I think we played
but
it like
the whole
twice.
process of knowing that we could, that's the whole point. We can't do this.
Well, I mean, like,
We
and
can
I
play
guess
the
that's the
original.
point too. Is like how many people are going back to playing Anthem? Like I am because I want to 100% it. But I mean, like, other than that, I probably wouldn't necessarily be. Like, I mean, like, there's not really much to do in it other than like I guess play through the campaign again. Like, I mean, yeah. So then like I can see both sides of it, right? Like when you only have like a few people playing your game still, like how much are you responsible in terms of like keeping it alive? But like
Right.
also
Well, when
like
your team's gone, too, like
right.
what can you really do? Like
Well, and
if the
especially if
company
like
that's heading you is like saying shut your servers down, lay off this many people, at that point you're moving on to something else to survive,
well, and also like if you're a bigger studio that develops a bunch of games, right? Like some of that stuff that you like could release to the public, I guess, to have them like keep it alive on their own. Like that might be proprietary, Like that might be like stuff that your company developed over the years and doesn't want to release because like then it could be like backwards engineered or modified to like access like other games that you company makes or something. Like I
Yeah,
mean,
it's like corporate espionage at that point. They could be taking it to another
I
team,
mean,
You just
yeah,
you do
like
have to be
yeah.
careful about protecting what you've developed and things like that. But it
Or you
would be
have
nice to have
Tencent
like a
like
back
making
door. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
it.
I don't know where these things. We just threw them all together and it came out exactly like Horizon. I don't know how this happened. We weren't trying to copy them at all.
Right. Yeah.
But I haven't compared them, but now I'm gonna have to like compare it, like all of it. But like again, from that one first picture that I saw, that was like kind of their promo picture. It's so iconic. It's like screaming Horizon, like
Very much, yeah. It's like an intentional thing, right? It's kind of like I mean, I was not a huge fan of some of like Nintendo's litigation against Palworld, but there
mhm.
were definitely some similarities where it was like, no, this is like there are aspects of this game that are definitely intentionally trying to at least imitate, right? Like, I mean, like they
Well,
might not be
and that's
direct
part of it, though,
rip-offs,
right?
but they're definitely imitating. But I mean, like also the imitation
Every ripoff
happens
has to
like
have a little bit of an edge to make you think that it's close.
right, yeah.
So it grabs that, the unknowing person that doesn't know enough, but knows enough to like, oh, that's this game, and then they get sucked in without knowing it, right? I think that is part of the trend of it. Because you think about all these products that we use for like around the house or whatever, that are like, okay, you can get or even like sodas or anything, like you can get Sprite or you can get something that's a knockoff that's like Sprite, lemon lime, this, that, and it doesn't taste as good, but it's cheaper, And
or you could get Starry, which tastes better. But I mean, like, I'm a huge Starry fan. Starry,
what?
if you Starry, if you want to sponsor me,
I don't think I've ever had it.
It's so Sierra Mist. I feel like had a very distinctive difference than Sprite. Like it wasn't anywhere close. Starry is a lot closer, but I think better personally.
Who does?
But
Starry?
it's a preference thing. Pepsi. They replaced Sierra Mist with Starry.
Really? I guess I didn't realize that. I don't usually drink Sprite. I'm a Dr. Pepper guy, so it's either.
Oh my gosh,
Dr.
you're
Pepper.
one of those. Jeez.
Yeah, man. That is my number one. If I'm gonna drink,
I forgot this about you.
Yeah, if I'm gonna drink anything like that, it's gonna be Dr. Pepper, and on the occasion it'll be one like a Baja Blast, or something like I like Mountain Dew, but I like it one of those flavored ones. Really, my favorites like that blue raspberry one, Voltage. Man, that thing. So good to me.
I don't care for
it gives me that
much,
whole
popsicle
vibes of red, white, and blue, like the rocket pops. I don't know. Whenever I drink that, I think about those pops.
I've always liked their like their 4th of July flavor. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, the 4th of
But
July,
like,
and it's
yeah,
very similar. It's like it's something to do with rock. I think it's like supposed to be like close to a rocket pop, honestly. But it's
yeah.
like so good. Both of them, they're all like in blue raspberry, all that good stuff. Man, I want one right now, and it's too late. I didn't stock up. No, I haven't been drinking anything like that. Mostly, I like water, water for the most part, and then on the weekends, sweet tea. So
Oh, I still drink way too much soda pop, but like, hey, I need my caffeine. You stay awake.
I
Uh,
do it periodically, like when we're having like pizza or something like that, or if I'm just like
sure.
out and about and getting food or something like that. But yeah, I've been trying to like mitigate it a little bit more to more water, less sweet drinks or whatever like that, something like that. Even juice, like I'll have some juice, but like not as much as I used to. It's been making me feel a little bit better, just like health wise. So that's been helping me out. So I think that's important too. Yeah, everybody has to kind of balance what works for them. So that's been working for
For
me
sure.
lately. So
Yeah. Well, you know what works for me is Xbox deciding yet again to release news right after our podcast episode and roll back their price increase on new games this year,
wow,
which was a shocking thing, which will allow me to have more money for my, soft drinks. But yeah, like
interesting.
I feel like that's a really weird kind of move, but also I'm kind of appreciative of it. I think that like
Isn't that just like
Nintendo
typical Microsoft though? Like, hey, we're gonna make a lot of noise about this, and then we're gonna roll it back.
change our minds, yeah. I mean, yeah, but I feel like usually the changing their minds is like in a negative direction. I mean, like,
Sometimes, but I have seen
yeah,
it with like, especially when they say they're gonna do a price increase, where Nintendo or even Sony will hold their ground.
yeah.
Xbox will be like, you know what,
And I
we'll
think
be
maybe they were
nice.
expecting Sony to like follow suit, but Sony doesn't really have too many like exclusives coming out right now. So I mean, like I don't know, like third parties will probably eventually increase their prices, but they usually can't get away with that. Maybe they saw the backlash that Xbox got, and they were like, "Nah, let's not do that yet." I mean, like the new GTA, I would imagine will definitely be like $80, right? Because that's what Rockstar does. But like it felt weird for Xbox to be pushing after Nintendo. And this will sound weird because I'm saying it ad hoc, right? I'm saying it after the fact. But, like, on one hand, I could understand it because Nintendo already set the bar. And, like, okay, like, if someone already sets the bar, we might as well just jump on because it's going to happen, period. Like, I mean, like, if one of the big three is pushing it, it's going to happen. But then
Yeah,
also, like, for Nintendo, they can get away with it because they just launched new hardware. And that's when you do it. That's when you do the price increase. That's what happened with Xbox One too, right? Like, I mean, like that's when games went from 60 to 70 is with like the advent of the new hardware. So, I mean, like for
yeah.
Xbox to do it when their new hardware is still like 2 to 3 years out, it was like, oof, like the timing of this sucks. Like, because
It
this
didn't
just
quite
is an
make as much sense
optical
as they have in
loss.
the past. Like
Right. Yeah.
why was this decision made now? And
Yeah.
I think with this, with the price increase being announced, and then all the stuff at Microsoft, all the layoffs and all that sort of thing, I'm sure it's kind of like this makes some sense now to do this because we're kind of changing in some direction here and there. So it's like, well, we need to. I don't know. I mean, that's what makes sense to me, I guess. Like the fact that, okay, well, we need to stop the bleeding a little bit. Like we're making a little bit of bad rep for ourselves here.
Right.
But and they're not
And I mean,
again, they're not
like,
releasing new hardware, and then you've got Nintendo who again just released Switch 2, and they're making money on their consoles.
Yes, that's
That's
true.
got to be
Yeah.
something that I wish that Xbox and even probably PlayStation would be like. Maybe they just can't, but again, they need to be focused on a little bit more of that aspect instead
Well,
of just like burning a hole.
I think the trade off is that like you get like cutting edge, like relatively really good hardware, as opposed to Switch, which always feels like it's like a generation or even two in the case of Switch One behind. You know, I
That's
mean,
true.
like,
Yeah, usually at the end of its life
I
cycle, it's 2 to 3
yeah.
for sure.
So I mean, like, I don't know. I think that's a trade off. I think that's why consoles are so expensive, is because they are like kind of matching like current specs. Like they're like even on a really good PC, yeah, like a game could look somewhat better on a really good PC than on my Xbox Series X. But I know for sure it'll run on my Xbox Series X, and I know for sure it'll run at like 60 to 120 frames.
Yeah,
Well,
and
depending on
it's
the
been
game.
tested for
I
all
mean,
these
like,
games
yeah,
and been
yeah,
optimized, and that's the trade off too. Again,
right,
you get a
yeah,
console, and it's all these games have been tested, and all the stuff's been patched through, to like cater to that spec of that machine. Where we've all had these problems with PCs, where it's like, okay, well, you just made a Frankenstein a PC, and you're gonna have to go through all the hoops and the hurdles, which for some people that's awesome. Some people it's part of the whole conundrum of owning a PC. You get to nerd out and get to do almost like reinventing the wheel. But for other people, and I, it just depends on how you're gaming too. Console's way better for that because you pop it in, or I guess
yeah.
these days you don't really pop it in as much anymore. But pop it in.
Although
Yeah.
I will say that was the other thing that Xbox announced too, was that they were planning on not doing physical copies for like their games this year, like Outworlds 2 and like oh shoot, what was the other big one? Uh
Um,
oh man, it's I don't
Call of
remember.
Duty game.
But like yeah, maybe Call of Duty or something like that. But like they said, well, I'm sure they were going to do a physical for Call of Duty though. There's no way they wouldn't have. But in any case, there were like a couple of games that they were going to just do digital versions of this year, and they
Right.
rescinded that as well, along with the price. They're like, "No, nah, we're going to do physical versions of these two."
Interesting.
So I mean, like that looks like an optical win, even though it's really just giving people what they said they weren't going to give people. Like, I don't necessarily know that should even count as an optical win, but like good on them, I guess, for like changing, like basically listening to feedback and going, oh, okay, like people really don't like this. I guess we can change it. It's not really a big deal to us. Like, I mean, like it's not going to hurt us that much, and it might actually impede like sales or something. So like, yeah, let's just change it. Like, good on them for that.
I feel like at this point in where we are with technology and where we have been, with everything, like, okay, why at this point are we not doing like memory sticks, flash drives, for our games? We don't have to be, they don't have to be CDs anymore. Just
that's one of the things like that's one of the things that kind of bugs me too, is like, so people are so big on physical media and like having discs and stuff. It's like games don't even fit on a disc anymore because discs just don't have enough space. Yeah, like, I mean, like even a Blu-ray can only hold like how much?
Format,
like, yeah,
it's like if we were still holding on to I mean, some people do, but if we were still holding on to doing record players everywhere, for our music, like a lot of people are still bringing that kind of stuff back because it's retro. I get that. I mean, I actually have one myself, but like across the board, we're not only selling records, or stuff like that. Like we're for music, a lot of it's just digital, and I mean that's happening a lot with games as well. But for like, if you get a game and it has a case and you can get all the thrills that go with it, like I like to have some physical copies, and it's cool to add a few things that if you're a fan of the series, you can add like a booklet or something to go with it, maybe like a comic, whatever. But it'd be cool to just have a stick. You plug it in, you download it in a split second, and you don't have to worry about downloading.
Right.
because it's already in the stick.
Well, and that's the
I
thing
think that would
too,
be
is
kind of a
like,
cool
yeah.
trade off.
But then also you have like day one updates or whatever and all that jazz, like because most games just
But
aren't
it still would
finished by the
save
time of
time because
release.
you would
But it
plug
would
that
save
in.
time.
It would
Yes. Yeah.
zoop right
Yep.
down to your
You're
hard
right.
drive.
Like I mean,
And you could have a cool it could be like a cool logo or cool design on a flash drive, or make it like we've seen a bunch of different ways that they've made flash drives into like I don't know, like I had this Halo key, for Cortana, and it had a flash drive on it, and you could do all sorts of different things that go with the game. And then it has a flash drive on it, so you can't tell me that wouldn't work. I'm pretty sure it would.
right.
And people you could get you'd have like them all be like a couple 100,000 like this, and then you have one exclusive like looking one like that, and fans would eat that kind of stuff up. They do. We know this.
Right. Yeah. You're not wrong. Yeah.
So it would work. So they just, we need to move past the disc a little bit.
Well, and like I mean, like so a lot of times when I have a game that's like I don't have space for on like my internal or uh my expansion card, right? I'll put it on one of my external drives where it can't be playable, but where I can still transfer it if I want to play it. Because like those are like 8 terabytes a piece or whatever. And when I transfer it back onto an internal, making room for it and whatever, like it transfers super quick because it's on a physical media. It just moves the files over. So
Right.
I mean, like you're definitely right on like that being way faster than like downloading something entirely from the internet or whatever.
Yeah, and you could have all these collectibles, drives. Like, I mean, I don't know. I just think it'd be kind of a cool thing. It wouldn't.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit more of an expense, but I don't know. If you get them in bulk, like anything else, you could find a way to make it work.
And like hopefully, like I feel like I don't. I use flash drives fairly occasionally, not all the time, but fairly occasionally. And I feel like I haven't damaged a single one. Maybe one. Maybe I've damaged one total. But I mean, like the number of Blu-rays or just CDs in general that I've scratched that are like now unplayable because of that, like, is probably like a pretty significant amount, right? Like, I mean, yeah.
Oh yeah, like
like
especially early 2000s, like mid 2000s, like with the whole ring of death that the
oh my
Xbox would
gosh,
give. Like I don't know how many times I've used toothpaste on a CD on a disc. It works, folks. It works, but it's kind of a tedious process. And it's saved a few of my discs, and it's just like. But again, why do we want to be tied to that technology? I mean, obviously, I mean, most of these games aren't even. A lot of them don't even come with discs. I don't. At least the newer ones that I've come to buy that are physical medium, they just have a code. Yeah. So some of them do have the disc. Some of them have like, especially with like your Switch and your Switch 2. I mean, you got to have that like almost like an SD card, right? Your little, which is cool. Those are very like collectible as well. But I know some of them do put the disc just for having that as your collectible. But a lot of them don't, and I think it'd be cool to have all these collectible flash drives. And again, you could put them in whatever action figure, just to have something in the back that sticks out, or whatever.
I kind of like that idea. Yeah, like I mean, like even playing like some of these like cyberpunkish games, like how they always have like some kind of physical thing, like be it like a little like flash card.
Yeah, it would
or
make
something,
sense because
like, or whatever.
it pops
like,
out
I mean,
of
like,
your arm because it's integrated into their side.
I don't want anything like under my skin or anything for the record, but I mean, like like I think that you're right in terms of like having something physical. Like there is still an appeal to that, even if like we're kind of beyond that, like in terms of like our
as much as we want to be digital, we are physical creatures. When it comes down to it, we're and again, there's still something about touching, and going out, and whatever you may say about it, like there's something about having these items. I mean, that's why all these pop figurines are like so big too. I mean, it's like they're really
Sure.
cool to look at and have and collectibles, and people
Yeah.
like to collect things. You talk
And
to
there's
any
there's
gamer out
there's
there.
a feeling of ownership, even if it's not true, right? Even if it's not like fully accurate, because like we've talked time and time again that like owning the disc to a piece of media doesn't mean that you own the media or the rights of what you can do with the
Right.
media,
You
right?
don't own
You're
what's
just
in.
leasing the content
You don't
essentially.
own
But I
what's
mean, like,
contained inside, but you own that physical disc. So
right,
that in
exactly,
of
yeah.
itself
There
is
there is
yours.
a feeling of ownership there associated with
Yeah.
that. I think that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh yeah. And then I don't want to get into I have one more topic, but I don't want to get into it right now because I feel like it'll be a better topic with Johnny. But if you live in the UK, they just passed a law uh, called the UK's Online Safety Act, and they're trying to pass something similar here in the US, which essentially regulates content and how accessible it is based on age. And so, beginning in 2026, age verification will be required to access social features on Xbox, such as voice or text communication and game invites.
I think
That's kind of
hasn't
crazy.
Epic been doing
That's
a little
kind of
of
wild.
that stuff?
I think they have, but I think it's all been like the only reason I think that these companies do this is in response to like legal requirements, right? In general. So I mean, like they might be trying to get ahead of the curve, maybe, but like they only do that because they know the curve's coming.
Yeah, and I think
So I
what
mean, like,
mostly I've seen on like Epic and things like that are like more parental settings, like you can set for your
sure, yeah.
kids, and I
Well, and
think
I think
this
part of
is a
that
little bit
was
different than
like
that.
the industry trying to self-regulate. I think was a big part of that. Like, hey, we have all these options, so now the government doesn't have to step in and kind of like tell you what to do or whatever. But I mean, like,
Yep.
apparently it hasn't proven to be enough. And then like this also goes way further than gaming, but like specifically with how it affects gaming, I think that's really interesting. Uh, because like I can't imagine being like 16 years old and not being able to like play online or whatever. Yeah. Or
Yeah,
you
and well, it's
apparently
also
you can play online, but like only with your like friends list. Like that's kind of
yeah,
wild.
like we have waded through the online verse of gaming for so long, like just
Yeah,
with our guns ablazing, going through and testing the waters of Halo Online to whatever online. And how long have we been doing that? Oh man. And
but I think that
there was
makes
some
for
places
an
there's sketchy places. There's places that you stayed away
yeah.
from.
Well, and the internet has become a very very different place since we were first inundated to it.
Man, it was
Potentially far more harmful. In some ways,
maybe, but
definitely
back then
far
it
more
wasn't necessarily that
accessible.
great either.
Yeah, but I feel like everybody knew what it was back then, for the most part. Like, I mean, like you kind of knew what you were getting to. I think when you make something mainstream, that gets a lot harder to regulate and like understand. Like,
Yeah, and there's that whole idea of now that this thing is like back when all this stuff started, it wasn't you know it was just the nerds, it was just the few that played gaming, the few that did gaming and all that sort of thing. And now it is just about everybody, it's the majority. And I feel
right,
like back then it wasn't important for the government to control it because it didn't matter. Now, since it's in every home and everybody's devices, they don't want to I mean, that's untapped potential for them,
yeah,
however you want to look at it, good or bad. But it's regulation that they want to get under wraps, because that how do you influence people by getting into by being in these things that they see on day to day. That's why they did it on TV. And that when I mean, TV is still fairly big, but I mean now it's like a bunch of different things coming together with TV. It's like it's not just TV anymore. It's like the whole medium of electronics. PCs, consoles, whatever that you're doing in front of a screen. So I mean, it's just
well,
it was
it's
just a
kind of
matter of
almost
time.
like it kind of reminds me of like this will sound kind of crude, But like, so like going to like a bad website back in the day or whatever, and kind of knowing what you would get there, right? As opposed to just scrolling like Twitter now and just seeing all kinds of bad stuff because like, and not expecting it, because it's just there, like
Right.
it's just
or
like
yeah.
I feel like that's what the internet has
medium.
become, where essentially you don't necessarily have to seek it out; it just shows up, because of how accessible it is and how many people have.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a very good point because
So, I mean,
so much of these things are like you're talking about reels or shorts or anything like that. It's so like quick and in your face. Like it's nothing that, like we were talking about earlier, a lot of our algorithm is stuff that we want to see, and then some of it is just like way off the, who knows, off the charts of something that like we're not even interested in, and
Right.
so you just never know what could pop up. And so, I mean, on that end, I totally get you. There needs to be some more regulation there.
And I feel like gaming is kind of the same, where like before, if you played games online, you were opting in to like, okay, this might be a toxic environment. There will probably be trash talking, etc. Whereas now, if you play games online, you're just a human being. You're not necessarily expecting like the toxicity of that to pervade like every single game you play or whatever. And like, there's an element of that where it's like, well, just grow up and deal with it. But there's also an element of that where like, yeah, but should everyone have to? Like, I mean, like, shouldn't this be a place where like, like anyone can come and like actually have like a good experience or whatever without like needing to like have to like dress up in like bulletproof armor, like
right. Just, yeah. And like, not for one, like not be yourself or like even hold to your own standards, or like for let's say my kids, just like wanting to be able to play and know that they're kind of safe in those games, because games like the games that again that we played, you knew what you were getting into because it was exactly what it was. There was nothing else. But now games are in many ways like bigger. It's like games inside of games. You don't know what all is there. So that can be, hard to control when you just like even me, like if I jump into a game in Fortnite, like I know what Fortnite is, but like there's so many other like on the sub level of these other games. Like I think for the most part, yeah, they're safe to play, but I have no idea. I haven't played all these custom things, that are out there,
Right.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Like, I don't know. I don't know that age verification is the way to solve this. I feel like that might be a crazy kind of like overreaching thing, maybe, possibly. I don't know. But I mean, like, I think it's an interesting attempt. And I'm sure we'll have a lot of future discussions about it too, as it continues to roll out. Like, it only affects really the UK and like maybe Australia soon-ish, possibly. But I mean, like, so far. But like, we'll see especially when it hits the US, but like on a larger meta level too. Obviously, there's a lot to dig into there. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting too, because like that just got announced, I think today, actually.
Yeah, and even going further, I mean, there's so many kids that have, like when we were growing up, we didn't have smartphones. You think about all the kids that have smartphones, so they have access to the web anywhere. You know, it's like so any website. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, it's something to think about, because you didn't have to regulate it the same. Now everybody's again has it in their pocket at their fingertips, and again, like a lot of that stuff that you don't even have to, whatever it is, you don't even know exactly what you could be getting into, just because that's the way that social media is today. So yeah. It is something to think about for sure.
But Johnny's going to kill us for going so long. That's okay.
What are you talking about? We've only been going for 30 minutes.
The next podcast might only be Johnny, because we might be dead.
So Craig too, if you never hear from us again, we'll see ya.
Craig, why didn't you stop us? Craig, you were supposed to set the timer. You're supposed to tell us when to stop. You didn't. I'm really disappointed in you. This will reflect in your next performance review, which is coming up soon.
He's actually laughing in the background because he knew. He has it in for us, guys.
Yeah. But thank you, as always, for listening to this episode of a Navcast, please like, subscribe, do all the things, share. Make sure to comment too if you have anything that you want to add to the discussion, or if you'd like to give us additional topics to consider. And yeah, what is it Johnny says? Bye.
See you next time.
Get out of here, Craig.